Damn, what just happened? What's going on, my brothers and sisters around the world? It's your boy, Terrell Humphrey, and welcome to Failures Knowledge. Here at Failures Knowledge, we empower people to become the best version of yourself each and every day. And how we do that? We lead by example. And for my guest for episode number 30, my guest, special guest, not only is he from the same town that I'm from, which is Little Rock, Arkansas, we went to the same middle school, the same high school, and man, it's just a chemistry that came within our first conversation. For my guest today, Timothy Campbell grew up in the urban inner city of Little Rock, Arkansas. Graduated from Central High School in 2010. Yeah, that's right, 2010. He a little bit older, but hey, this is cool. The older you are, the wiser you are, the wiser you become. You dig what I'm saying? And so Tim also graduated. Tim also is a proud Spring 14 initiative of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Upon graduation, he was successfully accepted into the U.S. Peace Corps program. He served as a community health facilitator in Gambia, West Africa, and subsequently served as chair of the In-County Diversity Commission for a 3-year stay. Following his 2-year, okay, listen, as y'all can tell, my guest is very, very, very special. I don't want to. His bio is really impeccable. I don't want to read it like verbatim, if that makes sense. So, Tim, what it do, man? What it do?
What's good, Terry? What's good, man?
Man, I can call it, man. How's your week been?
Week been all right, man. I really been resting this week. Last week was a really, really long week for your boy. So this week I've been kind of tapped out, man, doing a little bit more resting. Just kind of working on some things that I've been meaning to work on for a while. How your week been, man?
Man, this ain't good, bro. Man, it's been blessed, man. I cannot complain, bro. Just constantly growing, constantly learning, and finding ways how to become better than yesterday.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Man, you said you had a hectic week. What happened last week?
So last week, man, I had a premiere screening to a new documentary, a PBS documentary, Connected, Search for Unity, the roads that grew from concrete. So I was all hands on deck, me and my team last week, preparing for that, and we had it downtown Little Rock. It had a nice turnout. We burned the city out, which is probably the most empowering part, just to see people from the city, that you probably grew up with to come out, man, and check out the documentary. So, yeah, man, they had me exhausted last week, man. A lot of people don't know it's a lot of energy to go into event planning and everything. So, yeah, me and my team, we resting this week for sure.
100%. It's well deserved. It's well deserved, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. When I seen you do all them posts, when I met you in person for the first time, I ain't gonna lie to you. I was like, he's a very genuine person, bro. And everything that you now accomplished over your time, bro, that shit is amazing. Not only amazing, that shit is inspiring.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it.
And a lot of people don't even know you got another documentary out.
Yeah. So this is actually number 2.
Mhm.
I had one done by a good friend named Angie from Pine Bluff. She had the first idea to do one. This was 2020. And she just kind of wanted to come in and see my journey and how I was doing since leaving Africa and everything, well, returning from Africa, so that was an interesting piece she did. She did a dope job of, just that was all her work. She didn't have a team or nothing, like just the editing, the videographer, the interviewing. She did it all by herself. So shout out to Angie Perkins for that great job on that first documentary.
And I ain't gonna lie, when I watched him, I was like, ooh, okay. It's a lot more history than we think it is, to be honest, bro. And because I want to ask you, so before your documentary, before all the success that you came in and accomplished, who was Tim Campbell before everything, before all the success?
Um, People on Instagram saying they can't hear me.
Oh,
Before before I guess the spotlight of everything, Tim Campbell was actually my nickname in Little Rock is TT. So I was TT Campbell. Everybody knew me, the football player at Central.
mhm.
Um, Before that, man, just a neighborhood kid. Everybody knew I was, from the Central area. It was just I was a kid looking for hope, man. My mom, me and her struggled a lot, in our relationship, which was also mentioned in the documentary and everything. So, just trying to bring hope and inspire my little sisters and my family, and just really just trying to inspire hope at a young age, man. I just didn't know how, right? I
Mm,
didn't know what I wanted to do to inspire the hope. I just knew I wanted to do it. So
mm-hmm.
that's who I was before the world got hold of who Tim Campbell is today.
What year was that?
Uh so I would say 2008, 2009, 2010, 11, and 12. I was definitely wondering and looking for guidance. I was looking for mentorship. I was looking for things that we usually just see us on TV, especially when you're a young black boy. Your mentors are the rappers, your mentors are, for me, it was like, going to the Martin Luther King parade in Little Rock, seeing the car shows, and, you may see some family riding around. And so that was kind of the direction early, as a child that I kind of leaned to. But that changed when I got to UAPB. When I got to UAPB,
Mm,
wow, it changed. It hit a 360.
mm,
360 on me because I struggled my first semester in school, right? Like I struggled, just like I don't know if this is for me. Football was not around anymore to keep me busy, so I had to, construct my own life, my own lifestyle. So yeah, that's who I was before, just trying to find myself, just trying to figure things out. And I knew what I wanted to do. I just didn't know exactly how I wanted to go about doing it.
mm. That's powerful. That's powerful. The reason why I asked you when and who were you before all the success, because a lot of people see what's going on today. They don't see everything that's in the beginning. Because to be honest, I know for a fact that you face a lot of hardships. People ain't gonna see that. People is not gonna see that. And the reason why I asked you that is because I was in the same shoes that you was in, meaning that I was trying to find myself. So I joined the military back in like 2018. When I joined, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I'm thinking, okay, I'm good with people, but people is not really a skill. Being good with people is not really a skill. So let me go to the military and see if I can get some type of work experience. And we
Right.
came to realize life is a people game. Life is a people occupation. You can't do nothing without people.
Without people. Absolutely.
When I realized that, bro, I realized in like 2020, because I'm very good in like at understanding people, communicating with people. But I didn't know where I was going with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
why when you said what you just said, bro, that's why I can relate to you so much, because back what you say 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, and 2012, you was like 22, 23 time frame, right?
Yep.
We're the same age.
Figure it out. And,
Trying to
I,
figure it out.
I value what you just said, because I can't look up to somebody that I only admire, right? Because if I only
Mm,
admire you, then all you can do is show me this side of perfection, this side of greatness, this side of glory, and I can't use it as an example, right? I can be
mhm,
inspired by it, but it's not really an example for me, because mentorship is about relationship, right? How well can I relate to you?
mhm,
And the barrier sometimes is that people call themselves mentors, but I can't feed from a story that's only good. You know what I'm saying? I need
mhm,
all parts of the piece to kind of figure out, where in your story I can relate. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
as a mentor, it's not your job to choose that. As a mentee and as someone coming in to be inspired, it's my job to choose which part of your story inspires me most. You know, and it's kind of like, so it's unfair if I want mentorship and you're only giving me some of your story, because that gives me less to be inspired by. So, you know, I
Mm-hmm.
love to be honest. I love to be authentic, man, about just, you know, just your platform and just the questions you ask. And it's important.
100%, 100%. Just like you said, bro, you hitting it on the nail, man. You hit it on the nail because where we from, bro, we don't see what success is. We don't know that we can become what we're becoming. And that's powerful because we're really doing the same thing, to be honest. And you're speaking from
Yep.
experience. You're speaking from experience. When did you realize that a person that you have to learn from what a mentor is and how to actually go towards finding them? When did you learn that? When did you realize that?
I learned that as 8, 9 years old, bro.
Mm,
Because growing up, I didn't necessarily have role models.
mm-hmm,
I didn't necessarily have people that I wanted to exemplify. I had the opposite, which is just as powerful, right? Like when
mm-hmm,
you have people in your life that you like, okay, I don't think I want to travel that road. I don't want to go that route, or you know, and you kind of look around and it's just you. You know, so now you got to be that example that you never see. So when you look around at your audience, you're like, okay, I'm not really looking to see, you know, I'm not finding what I'm looking for in terms of aspiration and inspiration.
mm-hmm,
But I'm finding a reverse to that, right? I'm finding things that I don't want to be like, people I
mm-hmm,
don't want to be like, places I don't want to go. I'm getting the opposite of it. So I might not necessarily know where I'm going, but I
mm-hmm.
darn sure know where I don't want to go. I might
Yeah.
not know who I am or who I want to be, but I know exactly who I don't want to be. So
Mm-hmm,
the learning curve is already curved. All I got to do is figure out the easy work, which is who I am, where I want to go, because I know exactly where not to go because I've seen enough people go there and who they have become after they've came back. Whether that be, you
mm-hmm,
know, street life, whether that be prison, whether that be drugs, whether that be, you know, anything, you know, and I'm not tying a bad knot on anybody that took those routes because those routes are necessary, right? But in terms of
mm-hmm,
me, Tim, I was able to observe those routes at an early age and say, all right, nah, that ain't for me, you know, early. So
mm.
I didn't necessarily have good direction. I had enough bad direction to put me on the right track. So
And so you grew from your environment.
yeah, yeah.
Ooh.
So, you know, it becomes this thing of like not becoming a product of your environment, but a product of your decisions.
Mm,
And you know, we always, as Black people, say we have to grow up early, we have to grow up fast, we have to grow up, you know, and be mature early on in life. And that goes to what it's saying. Like the says, I'm not a product of, you know, my environment. I'm a product of my decisions. So that means that whatever is around me, regardless of how bad it is or how negative it is, I'm going to be a product of the decisions that I make daily, which is
mm,
extremely hard, right? I don't want to sit here and act like that's easy or like that's checkers. No, it's definitely chess. You know,
mm-hmm,
because it's a thinking game now. Now, if you don't want to be something that is supposed to consume you daily, from your family, from your food that you eat to the environment you go out inside and you play as a kid, like how can you not be consumed by that? You know.
mm-hmm,
So when I'm tractoring out of that environment over into the decisions part of everything, I bring some of that environment with me, right?
mm-hmm,
And it's inevitable that I'm going to bring some of that environment with me on my way to right, on my way to the
mm-hmm,
path that's considered to be noble. I'm going to bring a little bit of that environment with me because without that environment, I wouldn't know the right way. So it's going to
mm-hmm,
be small little bits and pieces of Wolf Street, small little bits and pieces of Little Rock that's going to always be attached to me and who I am and wherever I go, regardless of how I seen it as a kid.
mm-hmm. And that right there, you just described growing. Cause like at first, as we were learning more about ourselves, because you made a statement, you was like, it's easy to the easy part is learning about yourself. I was gonna ask you, that's easy. I was like, nah, that shit ain't easy. But you had to say it again, but you was like, that's the hard part. But with that being said, it's more to everything that we doing. What we doing to well, I can see. Well, to be honest, we're kind of like on the same path. What we're doing is bigger than us. It's bigger than Little Rock because a lot of people can relate to what we doing, what we going. A lot of people ain't even seen that.
Yeah.
So my next question to you: why Tim? Why Tim Campbell?
Can you be a little concise with your questions, man?
Okay, I got you.
Okay.
I got you. What? Okay, so why should Tim Campbell be the example for our community? Why should you feel like you're becoming something that you ain't never become?
So I think what you're asking is, in light of everything that I'm doing, in light of everything I've done, why me? Like
Mm-hmm.
why? Um, I think that I have to say, I mean, my desire is to inspire the youth, so I would have to ask myself why the youth more so than why me, because I'm out of the equation in terms
Mm-hmm.
of the spotlight, right?
Mm-hmm.
My goal is to inspire people like yourself and younger. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
kind of like I would flip that to ask myself, well, why do you choose the youth? Why do you
Mm-hmm.
choose the work? You know what I'm saying? It's just like I've been in those vulnerable positions. I've been in those situations where um I didn't know my why. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know, you know, I couldn't know my what because we didn't have the things to count, right? So I couldn't know
Mm-hmm.
certain things. But what I did know is I had somewhere to be and I had to be there on time. And what I mean by that is I had to take myself out of it. I had to get out of myself and my ego and saying that, oh, this is me doing this. This is something that I'm doing. And it's and I have to realize that your blessings are not for you. When God blesses for you,
Mm-hmm.
it's not for you, it's for other people. So that his light may shine through you so that other people may know the grace. So my whole thing with that is like when God blesses me, it's not for me, it's for other
Mm-hmm.
people. And in the streets, we say get it, break it down, and disperse it. It's the same with the blessings. Like you get the blessing, you break it down, you understand it, you get 3D knowledge of what God is doing for you, and you disperse it
Mm-hmm.
to other people. Because what good is a blessing if you hold it in? It is not a blessing, it's a gift. And those are two different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes God gives you something and say, hey, this is your gift. And it's something you hold on to. But even a gift has to be open. And when you open the gift and you look in there, it's nothing but blessings for other people. So
Mm-hmm.
anything that you circle your mind around in terms of public service or doing for others, you just gotta be sure that it's not for you. You know what I'm saying? And it can't be for you. It gotta be for other people. And that's the law of service to me.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, man. What you're saying is powerful because I understand exactly where you're coming from, and it motivates you to keep going when other people come to you, be like, man, what you doing, bro? Like this, it just gave me hope. Like they just inspire me to keep doing what I want to do, or even try to pursue my dreams. Or I don't know where I'm going, what I'm gonna do, but now I can try. Now I can take that
Yeah,
leap of faith. And
yeah,
that's the hardest thing about finding ourselves is we're so afraid to jump.
yeah.
And that's crazy. So let's talk about your experience in Gamma. I think did I say it
Gambia.
right? Gambia. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
in Gambia. Yeah, let's talk about your experience in Gambia.
So Gambia was interesting, man. Gambia was no vacation. And I think that that's what people hear when I say I lived in Africa for a couple of years. They may hear like, oh, vacation. Like he was there on vacation and he was kicking it. And it's like, nah, I don't want people thinking that.
Mm-hmm.
So when as I said in the documentary, like when I got on the plane for the first time in my life, I was like 23 years old, getting on the plane for the first time in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I was leaving Little Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And like when I looked down and actually seen like the top of Central High and I could kind of see my neighborhood, like it's different because I'm not standing there. I'm seeing it from a bird's eye view, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, wow, I begin to just tear up because I'm like, wow, like I'm finally seeing the place that, made me, bred me and just taught me from a bird's eye view because I'm being able and I'm blessed to leave out, you know what I'm saying, to go on another mission elsewhere. So when I did arrive in the Gambia, man, the first day it was so different. It was extremely different. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen in my life. It was far from Wolf Street, right? It was like as soon as I got there, it was very humid. It was cloudy, and I just remember a lot of dust when I got off the plane. I'm just like, wow, like it's different environment already, climate wise. And so when I got into the airport, one of the first things I noticed in the airport is that people weren't walking around like an American airport, with their own bags and, going to their own destinations. Like people were like helping people get their bags, other people's bags. And I ain't never seen it. I'm like, why would you be helping somebody else get their bag? Like people were helping people get their bags, right? And it was like a line of people waiting to help individuals to help them get their bags and make sure. So I'm like, okay, that was different. And so we left. I remember it vividly, traveling through the motherland, and I was extremely hungry. They fed us like some, I think it was like some fried fries, maybe some rice, whatever it was, bro. It got me good, and I went to sleep. The first night I literally sweated out the entire bed I was living. It was a twin bed. I sweated everything out, my clothes, everything. It was extremely hot. I just didn't prepare for that part. And so I went with the Peace Corps. Just to give context, United States Peace Corps is a very strategic international program that employs college graduates to do service and labor work in other countries in agriculture, health, education, and it's like a lot of different sectors depending on the country. So, but yeah, it was dope, man. When I got there, it was different from anything I ever experienced, and it was no vacation. So first, I'm learning another language in 97-degree weather on somebody's porch with a pencil and a paper, sweating, trying to figure out how these people say hello or how these people say, different things. And it was a struggle. One of my mentors, Bakri Jarami, Bakri Kamara, he helped me tremendously, man, because I struggled because I had a southern accent. So I'm already like, no, ma, y'all. And so it's different because their Mandinka is extremely fast language. So it's just like extremely fast, lightning fast. And I'm already like, I talk slow as it is. And I slug my words. I'm like, oh, this ain't gonna work. But it was in the beginning, man, it was definitely an uphill battle. And I had to bike everywhere. I had to ride my bike everywhere we went. I rode my bike. And so it was different. It was definitely.
It was a big mind shift that really the switch was like really brought something to you.
It was a light switch.
With us being from Little Rock, Arkansas, and from people that's watching this from Little Rock, Arkansas, what advice would you give for just being this? The only thing we know in is Little Rock, Arkansas. What advice would you give on that aspect?
I'm down for anybody getting and going beyond the walls of Little Rock, man, and going out to see other parts. Because even Palm Bluff was different for me. I went to UAPB. It was a different culture down there, and it was different. It was different from Little Rock. So even when I went to New York for the first time and got off the plane, I was just like, I was overwhelmed. Like, it was so many people. It was diverse. The technology was a little bit more advanced, so it was interesting, man. I advise for anybody to go and explore, man. I was extreme. You don't have to be like me. I went all the way to West Africa, like one of the first times I got out of Arkansas, for a long stint of time, and I will say the people that I went to Peace Corps with they were very diverse, very diverse group of people. The guy that I spent probably the most time with was he was from Europe. His family was from Europe. Another guy was from Pakistan, and it was just I was around different cultures within West Africa at the same time. So a lot of knowledge was being exchanged. So I had a lot to learn from other people, and I didn't think that people had a lot to learn from me. I'll be honest, because I'm like, oh, I'm just from the South. I'm not really up on a lot of stuff. I grew up poor, so I really couldn't tell you about technology and the new this and the new that. I'm kind of simple. I drove a 95 Cadillac before I got on this plane. So I'm not really, adept on new cars and everything. So I didn't really think that I had too much to offer the world in terms of lessons. But later I figured out that I had the biggest lesson to offer to the world. And that lesson was one of it's not where you come from, it's where you're going. So when I got in the Peace Corps, I think there were a lot of jokes around how I talked or how I articulated certain things. I would say something, I'd be like, "What it do?" And they like, "What he say?" They're just like, they're like, "What he say?" But that's how we talk, and I had to adjust to that because that was a hardship, having to kind of integrate into multiple cultures and the West African culture at the same time. So it was interesting, man. But I aspire anybody to, take a trip and learn people and meet people and just get out, because it's so much. It's a whole world out here that is waiting on people from Little Rock. So
and I agree. And the reason why I asked you that question in that way is because like we don't see opportunities that's out here. You found a mentor when you left Little Rock, meaning that there's a lot of mentors that's not in Little Rock. So once we get out our comfort zone and start traveling, start growing, start learning more about ourselves, we get placed in uncomfortable situations to where we have to adapt to the situation.
No choice.
What's the biggest thing that your mentor have taught you? The most important, I won't say the biggest, but what's the most important thing that your mentor has taught you?
So in West Africa, my boy Bach, man, the biggest thing he taught me was to be very observant of people. Like, he was very observant, and just because I didn't speak his language, he knew how I felt. Certain things I couldn't say, he knew what I wanted to say. Certain things that I couldn't really voice, he knew exactly what I wanted to go into when I was saying certain things, right? And I'm just like, how does he know that? But he was extremely, extremely observant. He would watch my moves, my patterns. He would he was just extremely emotionally there, which was new for me, because I was raised by my dad, but he was also emotionally distant to a certain degree. But he was also emotionally. This guy was emotionally closer, and he could kind of talk to him about certain things in terms of how I felt, because I'm in a new country, right? I'm sweating every night, like it's rats running in my ceiling, like I feel a way about a lot of stuff. I eat, it's not Burger King, it's not Davis Burgers, it's not Wings Takeout, it's whatever they slide out of that plate at night. You know what I'm saying? It's pitch black dark. You can't even put your hand at night. It's no electricity. Like, so I felt a lot of different ways, and he seemed to be very, very understanding, but also very observant. So he taught me the lesson of observing, and that came along with me learning the idea that people are who they are. And I think that's extremely hard for a lot of us to accept. But people are who they are, right? Like, even if, we're not talking about their future or their past, we're talking about in that moment. So take it as face value. Take it as this person is exemplifying exactly who they are. And I shouldn't argue with that. And I think a lot of times we want to save people and get in there and say, "Oh yeah, I should." You're not like this. You're better than this. And sometimes as a mentor, you can't do that because you're scared off good potential, because you're not accepting the person and you're not meeting the person where they're at.
And so how I was raised, my mama raised 3 kids, and so it was a single parent. So granted, we did see how hard she worked to provide for us. My mama did a phenomenal job raising us, but once I left home, left Little Rock, I started to see things I ain't never see. Like, for instance, I started to see people like happy. Like, why are you so damn happy, bro? Like, and it really I was really confused from it, because when I seen it, I'm like, bro, I'm not used to that. I'm not used to everybody being happy. But when I seen it, everybody, well, first meetup, the first meetup that I went to, everybody wanted to assist for the other person. Just like we said, when we was in Gambia at the airport, everybody was helping everybody. Everybody was helping everybody. So what you need help with? What you need help with? And they would just get bags. The same concept when I went to the first meetup, bro. It was just like a good environment where everybody wanted to help everybody, either new, experienced, old or young. It doesn't matter what you look like, what you talk, how you talk, and like if you was experienced or not experienced. And that's why I understand, because my mentors, they really opened me up to a bigger aspect of life. Like you
Yeah.
said, a lot of people, we try to get benefit of the doubt to people. I mean,
Yeah,
granted,
we do. We do.
eh, I do understand. I do understand. You always want the best for everybody, but what they showing you is who they are
Absolutely.
subconsciously. So, do you watch everybody that you come encounter with? Do you watch them, like? Do you observe them like a mentor observe you?
Well, I was already raised in the observation culture, living on Wood
Mhm.
Street. You better be observant. You better watch your surroundings. You better tie your shoes up tight. You better, you know, kind of always look over your shoulder to see, who's coming or what's coming.
Mhm.
But that was the physical observations I was making, right?
Mhm.
But when I got to the Gambia, I learned a lot more about spiritual observations and really being able to take into somebody's soul, because I'm around people that they don't know what it feels like to be on the phone all day. They don't know what it feels like to be at somebody's job from 8 to 5. They don't know what it feels like to be up watching TV all night. Be honest,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
after 8 o'clock, you go in your house. That's it. Like no
Yeah.
TV, no phone. That's it. So when you're around people that have that much mental time on their hands,
Mhm.
it's interesting, bro. It's interesting because you become all of that for them, right? So the way we watch
Mm.
Instagram, me being a stranger from America, they're watching me. The way we watch TV and Power Book, and you know what I'm saying, like
Mhm.
they watch me with that same intensity. And
Mhm.
so, what I learned was, when it comes down to observing, intelligence is, one thing. Smarts is one thing, but intelligence is to be able to watch something without judgment.
Ooh. To watch something without judgment.
To watch
How do you
something
do
without so what it's another level of intelligence. So you watching something without casting judge on it, saying it's this or it's that, or trying to make patterns on where it's gonna go next, or you just simply observing it, just like you would the water if it was in the lake, or just
it?
like you
Mhm.
would if you heard trees in your window at nighttime. Like you're not making an observance or you're not making any judgment. You're just simply listening and taking in what's going on. And it's a vulnerable place to be in because all we know is our judgments. All we know is
Mhm.
our ideas, our opinions, how we feel about something. When you push all that kind of to the side a little bit to really just pay attention and observe, you get a different outlook and a different outtake on different people, right? And I had to
Mm.
be put in a position because they're speaking a language I don't know. So I can't
Mhm.
judge. I can't make predictions. I can't do I'm in a run almost like a baby, bro.
Mhm.
So I'm in that state of where I can only sit back and watch this whole different culture operate in front of me. What time they wake up, what time they eat. Not to the point where I could start making them judgments of, oh, we're gonna eat this today. Because I
Mhm.
can calculate it now. But for the
Mhm.
first year, everything that came to me was sheer observation
Mm.
of groups of people that were foreign to essentially who I was.
That's crazy. Not just that's not crazy. That's amazing. That's amazing, to be honest, bro. So when you came back to the States after you left Gambia, what did you realize was different about yourself?
Bro, I was different. Like I was 360 different. Like I was different to the point where man, I was looking people in the eyes the entire time we were in conversation. Like
Mm-hmm.
just I'm just observing, like just looking at people directly in the eyes when I was talking to them and when they was talking to me. Because in West Africa, to break eye contact during a conversation was almost disrespect because they don't have their phone to go look at. They ain't
Mm-hmm.
got no updates. They Instagram ain't buzzing, so they looking at you. And you looking at them. It could be an hour conversation, and y'all just looking at each other having a conversation about sports.
Mm.
So that was something I think maybe threw few people off when I came back. I already got the thing with eye contact. When I came
Yeah.
back, it was twice as intense because I'm really looking at people while they talking or sharing their ideas or whatever they was doing. I'm really just
Mm-hmm.
peeping out, not necessarily judging them and like that. I'm just really interested in what they had to say. And I think that's a different energy. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
okay, cool, whatever, and we keep it moving. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But like somebody that's really like, no, give me your pitch. No, like, what's up? What's on your mind? Like, because that's all you got. Like I said,
Mhm.
Instagram, social media world is not there. So our
Yeah.
social media is, cracking jokes, or it's more communal, it's more communication based. So I was adept to talk. I want to talk more when I got back because that's what I've been doing for 2 years. I've been having great conversations with great people, learning great things. Um, I think I had a different view of women. I
Mm.
know I did
Mhm.
because in the Gambia, women hold the Gambia up literally, like with in their hands. They have that country in their hands. So
Mm.
you go in the market and you want to go buy something, it's 90% women in the market as entrepreneurs selling things. You get home. When I got home, my mom was cooking for me. When
Mhm.
I woke up, it was my mom waking me up. When I woke up, my mom was sweep. My host mom would sweep the entire compound dust. She would
Mhm.
sweep the entire compound of dust, bro,
Mhm.
with a broom. And I'll show you the broom.
Still got it? That must be on the
Yes,
wall.
still got it,
That must
bro.
be on the wall.
With this, bro, and it ain't got no handle on it. Like you gotta bend over to sweep, and they are sweep, bro, for like 30 minutes in the morning. First thing they do. So when I hear them sounds, oh, it's time to get up. And the
Mm.
whole village is doing it. The whole village of women are doing it. So it becomes like this intense volume of just sweeping. And so that's when I get up. You hear a few chickens and you just hop up. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But then after she do that, she make a little breakfast. After she do that, she walk 3 to 4 miles to go to work, bro, in the hot sun. It's 9 o'clock in West Africa, so the sun already hot beaming.
Uh-huh.
And so when they get to the rice fields, they working probably harder. Just imagine working at Amazon, bro. Uh 12-hour shifts, no
Mhm.
break, no shoes. Like you just out there at Amazon working, bro. Like that's the kind of work that a Gambian woman, would pride themselves on. And they would go out and sometimes I ride my bike out there, and I bring a little
Mhm.
music, and I ride
Mhm.
out and I play their favorite songs, just to brighten up their day because I started to see the struggle. I started to see like, dang, y'all are really, really about it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like keeping up a village. It ain't just about y'all individuals. This is about a family. And the family that's connected to the village, and a village that's connected to the Gambia. You see this individual part playing on a macro scale
Mm.
every day, and it's just like, bro, the hard work of Gambian women with little to no appreciation from the Gambia
Mhm.
is just it blew my mind, bro. Like, and it made me understand women in a whole different atmosphere. Um, yeah, my views of women were extremely different. I remember I had a host mom, and so it was a point where we became so close. I'm calling her mom. This is my first time having a mother and a father in the same household in West Africa.
Mhm.
And so I'm calling her mom, and we became linked, like soda, like link, like mom. She's like son, So she feeds me every day. She, all that. So it was kind of to a point where her and the guy was staying with my host father got a divorce,
Mhm.
and she left the village. And I just keep the situation out of it. But she left the village, went to another village. I didn't see her for like 2-3 weeks. Missed her, bro.
Mm.
Missed. So she was supposed to be banned from the village because she got divorced in the village. So she's kind of like not allowed back yet. So
Uh-huh.
she comes back. And so kids are coming up to my house saying, like, oh, yeah, my name was Yaya. I say, like, Yaya, um, your mama's here. Your mom is here. And I'm like, who could they be talking about? I know they're not talking about, my host mom, because she's not supposed to be here.
Uh-huh.
So man, bro, Terry, I walked, I put my shoes on, I left my crib, and I went to the compound that they say she was at, and she was sitting
Mhm.
there, and she was like, her first words was just like, have you ate? have you ate? Like, I didn't see this lady in 2 weeks, bro. She's like, have you ate? And I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, I ate. I'm good. And she said, have you missed me? I said, yeah, of course I've missed you. And she's like, nah, I don't think you're just joking. Like, I don't think you've
Yeah.
missed me. You X, Y, and Z. And then she said, I said, well, because by now I can speak the language. I'm like a year in. I'm like, so why did you decide to come back? She said, I
Mhm.
couldn't sleep at night. Yeah, because I was thinking about, did you eat? Are your clothes washed?
Mhm.
Like, are you okay? So I had to come back and check on you, bro. I couldn't fight tears. I just couldn't fight tears, bro, because I'm a stranger to this land, bro. And over a year time, I've become so bonded. And the first question she has for me is like, "Have you ate?" And there's no shame of like, "Oh, women belong in the kitchen," or all that goes out the window, bro. Because now it's just about care and intimate dwelling, right? So I'm
Mhm.
just wow, bro. Like she asked me how I ate, bro, and I just could tear up because it's just like that kind of love, And you from Wood Street, bro. We from,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
yeah. So that was my view of women changed, bro. Like to a tremendous degree.
Is that when your why got more defined?
Absolutely, because I struggled with my mom growing up. So,
Mhm.
in struggling with my mom growing up, she battled a lot of addictions and, just kind of things like that. I was in the DHS system,
Mhm.
growing up. I got 4 little sisters. So it's
Mm.
5 women that I come back to with this new ideology, with this new framework of work of thought. And now it's just not a thought, it's a responsibility to treat these women differently.
Mm.
Right? It's
Mhm.
not just like I want to, it's I got to now. They gotta
Mhm.
be good at all times. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna be
Mhm.
that big brother. I'm gonna be that role model for them. If and buts out the window.
Mhm.
So yeah. When I got back, man, I was a lot more. I wanted to spend a lot more time with my little sisters.
Mhm.
And just kind of figure out what their development was. Like not just okay, how's school going, but no, how are you doing? You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like mental health
Yep.
wise, health became
Mhm.
really serious for me when I got back because it was just like I didn't go on a vacation, bro. Like I faced crazy amount of challenges when I was in West Africa. You know,
Mhm.
so yeah, it was mentally exhausting at times. When I wanted to walk home from the street, it's 5. When I want to leave my village, it was like a 4 or 5 mile walk,
Mhm.
and that's it. Like that's it, bro. So I had a lot of thinking time, man. So yeah, when I came back, bro, my view of women like changed, and just to even go deeper, we were raised as little black boys sometimes to think that our boyhood or our manhood is calculated based on how many ducks we count. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Or how many notches we got in our belt with women. And it's just kind of like, I for years I was dumbfounded when I figured out that I thought that, I was a player when I was in high school a little bit. I thought that, I was a cool guy and I thought that,
Mhm.
this and the third. And, I thought I had girls. And when I was a younger kid, like,
Mhm.
as adolescents, but I never understood or admitted the power that girls had over me.
Mhm.
And that's the mind flip, right? Because as a as an adolescent boy, you're taught, you know what I'm saying, get as many notches in your belt as you can. But
Yep.
really, from an African standpoint of view, that's seen as like wasting yourself. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Yep.
that's seen as like diminishing who you are. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because it just kind of means that you need multiple wombs to feel nurtured. And you came from a womb and you spending your whole life operating around trying to get back in there at any
Yep.
moment in time. And that's power. That's not just
Mhm.
power of your thoughts. That's power of your mind. That's power of your potential. That's power of your money. That's power of a lot of things, right?
Mhm.
So a nation can't rise no stronger than its women. So it's kind of like we thinking about the word nation. We think of thousands of millions of people. A nation is right in your household.
Yeah.
because a nation is built on a family. A family is built on individuals. Individuals are built on ideas, thoughts, and mentalities that come together, and you go right back up the chain with it. So it's just like, bro, I had to learn if I'm really gonna do some building, then my nation gotta be built on like real right morals, right, and also
Mhm.
with having the right woman and the right female counterpart in my life.
100%. I completely agree. Just because I understand where you're coming from, bro. Everything that you're saying, I'm relating to you in a way that I've experienced it. And it's growing up is what we know. We see everybody getting all these women doing. You know what I'm saying? Just like I said earlier, just that's what the the normal was. My bad. That's what the normal was a lot of females,
Absolutely.
and don't respect women. Well, we respect them, but we're not really respecting them because we don't respect ourselves. And
Yeah,
everything that you just said, you can tell that you grew each phase of your life, and you never stop growing. How important is that?
bro, growth is the most important thing and tool that you have because and the documentary is titled "The Roads that Grew from Concrete," which
Mm-hmm.
kind of ties into your question. Like it's like why the roads that grew from concrete. And it's like I don't necessarily think about a rose growing through concrete as I think about people and everyday humans growing through challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And your concrete may look different on a daily basis. It may be something that you may be struggling with. It may be something that, you're trying to get through. It may be addiction. It may be anything that you may be struggling with. And that rose is that part of you that is beautiful. It's talented. It's
Mm.
ready to conquer the world, right? But it's just
Mm.
like it can't get through the concrete. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
what God does is oftentimes He eludes us and allows us breakthroughs. And so when that rose actually does break through the concrete, it doesn't look like the best rose. It doesn't look like the
Yep.
kind you can Whole Foods in that nice section that's getting sprayed with water every 5 minutes. It looks like a rose that grew from concrete. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? The petals don't look like the best. The stem may be a little crooked, but you just be marveled on the fact that a rose grew from the concrete. And my goal is to let people know daily that whatever that rose is within you, don't let the
Mm-hmm.
concrete or the environment around you stop it from growing,
Mm. Mm-mm.
despite how much water you may not have, despite how
Mm-hmm.
much support or guidance or attendance you may have. You gotta bust through. You gotta break through because, like I say, your blessings aren't for you; they for other people. So even when you get
Mm-hmm.
that breakthrough, even that when that rose grows through the concrete, the first person to see that rose break through the concrete is not the rose. It's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
who? It's gonna be other people. It's gonna be other people. So your
Yep.
blessings for you. So your growth out a lot of times is not for you. You know what I'm saying? You're growing for something for somebody that you probably can't even see yet, something you can't even touch yet, but you're
Mm-hmm.
spiraling and growing
Mm-hmm. Can
early
you?
on the
Okay.
journey
Yeah.
for something greater than you. So growth is the most important part. It's not the easiest part, but it's definitely it's most important for sure.
Bro, you know what's so crazy, man? You said earlier you was like you didn't know what type of value you can bring to people. You didn't know that you have something where other people can learn from you. We was in Gambia.
Yeah,
And what I came to realize is that we as people, as individuals, has something to bring to the table. We don't know what that is because we don't know who we are. Once we continue to learn who we are, continue to grow, we start to realize that every time I step in the room, I have some type of value to bring. We might not be in the same
absolutely,
industry, might not be doing the same thing, but I have some type of value to bring. And it's
absolutely.
just it's just the confidence within yourself and just believing everything you're doing is for a reason.
Yep,
And that's
yep,
why when I realized that, because my first time going to meet up, I was like, I really don't have no type of experience. I haven't closed on a real estate deal. I haven't done anything. Only thing I've been doing is just really taking action. Bro, it took me 16 months just to close my deal. Me and my business partner, Dylan Brown, back in Arkansas. And when it
yep.
closed, bro, I was in disbelief because I'm thinking this whole time I gotta bring something to the table. I'm not valued enough to close deals. I'm not valued enough to actually be efficient enough in real estate.
Right.
When I closed that deal, bro, it took me a week to realize that this mug was real.
Yeah.
And when it closed, it took me like a couple minutes. I mean, it took me 5 days just to spend the money. I had got a fee, and I charged a fee. I got charged a transfer fee. I was like, she was crazy because I was about to quit doing real estate. God put us in situations to where He knows where that we can handle it. Bro, I was
Yep.
about to quit. I promise you, I was about to quit. I was like, bro, I'm just gonna focus on podcasting, let the podcasting fund my real estate. When
Yeah.
that deal closed, I realized I wasn't educated enough. When it
Mm.
closed, I invested back to myself. I invested to my education. So now I understand the value that I have to bring. It's a little bit more because I'm more educated. And any objection that you have, I can direct you in a way that will help you. Because it's not about the property. It's not about the property. It's about what problem do you have? What problem do you
Yeah.
have that I can potentially solve?
That
If I
you can
can't
solve.
solve,
Yeah.
yes, sir. If I can't
In
solve it,
order,
cool.
in order to solve problems, I gotta know what you need. And oftentimes,
Exactly.
we can go be honest, bro. I mean, we grown men here. We from the government down to nonprofits, down to individuals, bro,
Mm-hmm.
throwing out solutions that has nothing to do with what a person may be going through in their day-to-day life.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to do. A lot of the times, a lot of the services for the person that's providing and not the person that's receiving it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I provide services, it's good that I was on both sides. It was good that God blessed me and anointed me to be in positions to where I can give out backpacks, or I can feed individuals dealing with or currently dealing with not having a home. And
Mm-hmm.
it's different when you've been the person that was standing in the welfare line, the person that
Mm-hmm.
was waiting on the government assistance. So I seen both sides. So not only do I feel the pain that comes with the service, I also can feel the pleasure of, providing a service at the same time, bro. So it's a more of a
Mm-hmm.
three view. So I'm not saying that everybody needs or synonymous with mines, but everybody, if you plan to do some kind of service work, it's important to do some type of needs assessment or some type of
Mm-hmm.
survey to know what exactly, and it could take 5 minutes if it's an individual session with someone. And like we talked about mentorship, some people are mentoring people, and some people are telling people things that have nothing to do with what they're actually going through, but it just sounds good. It's clickbait, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's not helping people. You know what I'm saying? That's
Mm-hmm.
not helping people at all. So, you know, my whole mantra behind services, bro, like you talked about growth, man. If education is a two-way street. If I'm educating you, or if I'm teaching you something and I'm not learning something in return, then that's not education,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's a whole lot of selfish stuff going on in that conversation, because I should be learning just as much as the person that I'm educating is learning. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Education is not a one-way stick, it's a two-way stick. So if you're a teacher and you're teaching a class and you're not learning from the class as the class is learning from you, then you failing the system of education itself. So
Mm-hmm.
it's same with service, bro. Like if you're providing a service to someone that you feel like they need, and they're not rendering you some in return that you can pick up on, whether it's grace, patience, the thing, it could be invisible. It could be the things that
Mm-hmm.
you can't touch, but something is coming back to you in 360 that you're humble enough to accept.
Mm-hmm.
The service rendered is obsolete.
It really is. When did you decide to start a nonprofit organization?
So the nonprofit, the Arkansas Movement for Change, started in 2020, during
Okay.
the George Floyd riots and the George Floyd murder, as I like
Mm-hmm.
to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, I had a different take on it. I felt responsible. I felt like I had to go do something. I felt like, um, somebody has to, step up if they can. And it wasn't just me. It was tens of hundreds of people that stepped up in the city of Little Rock, stepped to the plate, and was just like, hey, um, this is what needs to be done, and this is how it's going to be carried out. And over time of me, Drika Wright, Oyata Poet, Darren Kidd, June Young, we started something called the Arkansas Movement for Change. And
Mm-hmm.
essentially what that is to provide safe spaces for millennials, young adults, whether it be through the events that we host or whether it be through volunteerism or however you. Also to provide resources, back school
Mm-hmm.
drives. Like I said, dealing with people who do not have a home currently, um, and just kind of like unblurring the line of otherness. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Like, oh, they need help, they're the other. Like, like unblurring that line. No, it's been times we all needed help. So
100%.
movement for change. The name actually comes from the movement. Like the movement is you, and
Mm,
people like, what's the move? Like, what's the move? Like after you book 10 to 12 moves or 6 to 7 good moves, now it's just not the what's the move. Now you're looking at a movement, right? And that's
mm,
the goal, to get out of the idea of just making moves to where you can sit back and see it from a bird's eye view and see your whole movement.
mm.
So and then if we can be of any assistance to that, that's the type of energy you want to curate. So
That's amazing. That is really amazing, bro. Because everything that I'm doing, everything that we're doing, to be honest, that we're educating the message that there's more out here. That like, granted, we're from Little Rock, Arkansas, but just because we're from Little Rock, Arkansas, doesn't mean we can't pursue what we want to pursue, or don't even be the example for our youth, our community.
absolutely.
And that's really powerful, because what you're doing it on a higher level to where you enjoy doing it. It's not a
Yeah.
job. It's not a
It's not
job.
a job at all. Do it for free.
and
Absolutely.
and I feel that everything I'm doing with the social media content, with like real estate, I'm providing value in a way that I know how to.
Right.
That is powerful. That is
Absolutely.
powerful. For somebody that wanted to start a non-profit organization, what advice would you give?
Um, well, I'm not the expert at starting nonprofits, but I would say don't be afraid to start small. I think everybody started small. I hope they did. So you can really, really get into the education behind what you're doing and why you're doing it. And you won't skip steps. Skipping steps is it's vital. Like
Mm,
skipping steps is not a fun thing to do. It feels good in the moment, but it's actually one of the most hesitating things like to anybody's process, skipping steps.
mm,
So I would just, challenge anybody to push through their process, start small, find a small audience to cater to, whether it be with, your word of mouth, you're a speaker, whether it be resources that you can provide, whether it be youth development, youth empowerment, which is always needed, whether it be international, whatever it is, find a small audience to kind of target and say, hey, I want to start here, before we
mm,
branch out, because it's so easy to have these grandiose ideas around what you want to do and how many people you want to influence. We live in an influencer world now, right? Where, oh, I want to get
mhm,
100,000 likes on my post. I want to, if I give out a backpack, I'm gonna take a picture of it so everybody can see it. And it's just like, nah, I wouldn't advise anybody to try to start there.
mhm,
I wouldn't advise that. Start from your heart, and let that kind of be the guide into what you want to do, because it's non-profit. Exactly what it says, non-profit. So it's not something you want to go into thinking that you want to calculate financially on. You got to go in with the work in mind first. So
mhm.
that would be definitely some advice I would give.
And you said something about a speaker. You're a keynote speaker too, right?
Yeah, so part of what I do is motivational speaker, inspirational speaker, youth development workshops, youth advocate,
Hmm.
you name it. I speak about 4 to 5 times a month. I'm trying to increase that right now. So yeah, so I think speaking was something that has been a gift and something I ran from a long time. For a long time, I would sit in the back of class. I
Hmm.
didn't want to say nothing. I didn't want to answer any questions.
Hmm.
I just kind of was in my head a lot, because of the things that I was dealing with at home or in my environment. So, you know, but now, I have to kind of realize, God got to call on me to say something, So and sometimes I'm not speaking for myself. Sometimes I can be speaking for other people, kind of like the voice for the voiceless. And I think that keeps me going because, like I said, again, my blessings that in my gift is not for me, right? When you think about the gift, oh, I got a gift, or this is my gift. When you open up a gift, it's just a blessing. It's just a lot of packages for other people to open. So I
Mm.
mean, that's what I see speaking as, man. It just it's a time to engage, And like I said, education work both ways. So while I'm educating or motivating or inspiring people, I'm also getting that in return from seeing how engaged people may be, or the questions the youth may ask, which is always great. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, speaking, man,
What? Go ahead. What you say?
I was just saying, speaking, that's definitely my passion.
That's what I'm becoming a motivational speaker too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Bro, I mean, I'm your first audience, man. I will say, man, I'm over here inspired, man. Some of the things you're saying, with whether it be military, we got the same track record. We went to Dunbar Central. I think
Mm-hmm.
your audience will know that, man. Like those stomping grounds, those inner city schools taught us a lot,
Mm-hmm.
growing up, man. And it's just it's amazing to see two people travel the same places and still end up on a conversational call, man. So, man, I'm definitely inspired, man. I'm motivated by you and your
Hey,
journey and what you do with real estate and the military and just being that kid from Little Rock.
yes, sir. That's what it's all about. Just because we from Little Arkansas doesn't mean we can't be a motivation speaker. We can't learn about real estate. We can't have a nonprofit organization. We can't create content. Like there's so much things that we can do. This just our
Absolutely.
niche. This just what we're good at. What we done fell in love with. Because I had created like an ebook. I think what's today? Tuesday. I started creating like Friday or Saturday. And so when I created what the purpose behind this ebook is for when people want to start making content or have a blueprint to start doing something. This ebook is gonna tell you this is my experience. This is my experience, and this is what I went through. And I
Yeah.
wanted to help you. I'm not charging. I'm not gonna charge anything for it. I am gonna copyright it though. I am gonna copyright it so that way people ain't stealing my thoughts. Nah,
Got
nah.
to. Yeah,
But
yeah. You got to tie your ends.
100%. But it's more to like everything I'm doing. Like just prime example, fair use knowledge, bro. Everybody had everybody's in a certain situation to where they want to start. In order
Yeah.
to grow, in order to learn more about yourself, you gotta fail. You gotta suck at doing
You have
things.
to. It's mandatory.
100%. I'm pretty sure
Absolutely.
your first time speaking. How did that go? How did your first time speaking on stage go?
My first time speaking on stage, um, actually, my grandfather ended up cutting down a tree outside, and so one of
Mm-hmm.
the stumps was probably like the same height as me, and he brought it in the house, and he was like, get behind the stump and just act as if you speaking to me and your grandmother, we your audience.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what I was saying back then, Terry. I don't know what I was saying, bro, but I was saying enough to get me to the point now to where that stump still resonates with me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You listening, Paul, I never forget the tree stump. You curated something that you don't know what you did. And
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes our parents they don't know what they put in our lives, but the things that they put in our lives, man, we use it as tools for the rest of our lives. But the first time I got on stage, bro, like Easter speeches, Christmas speeches in church, I bummed all them joints. Like I sucked. I used to get up there like I have my stuff on my hand, like get up there, I'm reading it. Yeah, I know it. I get up there, and I get up to the mic, and I just be like looking at people.
Heartbeat
And
being
people
fast.
looking at your parents like that's your boy, like that's your son.
Yeah.
And they actually walk me back, bro, because I used to just get brain freeze every time I went up. So yeah, man, like it took me a while to get to where I'm at. Now I get in front of an audience. It's bro, I feel like I just got off the table from getting a massage. Like I'm extremely relaxed, when
Mm-hmm.
it's time. Even with the documentary, that was the hardest part for me, bro. A documentary about how, your life went and the vulnerabilities that came with it on national television. And
Mm-hmm.
everybody got to see this. Bro,
Mm-hmm.
it was a lot of times like I was like, hey, cut that. Hey, oh no, let's do that again. Because when you think you're ready to be vulnerable, vulnerable will tell you differently. So there's a lot of spaces in that where I had to kind of really, really come home to myself
Mm-hmm.
because I was nervous. And like, oh, I
Mm-hmm.
ain't never been on a documentary before in front of all these cameras and stuff like that. So, I had to kind of pace myself, man, and let
Yeah.
my vulnerability lead, instead of trying to bring my vulnerability into a place that it really didn't want to go, which was on camera, So
Mm-hmm.
that was a moment where I thought that I was a great speaker, and then they put them cameras in front of me. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Have you started recording your content, or not your content? Have you started
Yeah, so
recording every time you speak?
I have recorded my content. I think the hardest part is hearing myself speak. And then when I was watching the documentary, I was pounding, bro. Like, oh, watching yourself speak, hearing yourself speak on HD camera is different because you're like, oh, that's me. Like, oh, my head really is big. Like, oh, like I need to
Mm-hmm.
get back in the gym. Like, you really can see everything. You can hear your enunciations, the way you pronounce things, and it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
you really get the full measure of you. And I think I've been hesitant to kind of publish my content, but yourself, you have no issue with that apparently because you do podcasts and you publish and post these things. I look down your list, I was like, oh man, this dude, like you confident what he doing because like you constantly seeing yourself because of the content you gotta make. So I admired it in you because that's not easy to do, man.
And bro, it's not. To be honest, I'm gonna tell you why I'm so confident in doing it now. So in January, what I know we've been on like an hour. How much you want to do?
All right, let's get into it.
Okay, for sure, for sure. But in January, I had surgery on because I'm gonna get a tooth implant. But
Okay.
prior to January, I never took my flipper out. I had a flipper in the place of my mouth, of the tooth that I'm
Okay.
missing. And so when I took it out and I had surgery, bro, I was gonna stop doing content just because I didn't want to show the missing tooth. I didn't want to show my
Mm,
discrepancy because I'm gonna look at it every day. If I'm looking at this,
yeah.
somebody else gonna look at that bitch too. And so I was gonna stop because it's like a 6 month process of from the first surgery. Cause I get a bone graft from the first surgery all the way up into the implant is actually placed into your mouth. It's like a 6 month process, and I got to thinking, I was like, bro, that's a long time not to be making no
That's a
content.
long time, bro. 6 months,
Not
especially what you do.
a
Yeah.
100%. It's a long time not to making no content just because I don't want to show the tooth that I'm missing. I got
Right.
thinking, I was like, bro, who cares? Who cares? The reason why I'm so confident now because I see the motivation that I'm giving. I see the example that I'm becoming because I'm keep doing everything. I wasn't stopped, but that's the point of learning who you are and actually pushing through, actually taking your leap
Yeah.
of faith, actually trying, actually doing this. Because when I
Yeah.
first had surgery, bro, you remember? So we was wearing masks because of COVID, right?
Right.
I'm the only one wearing masks just because I didn't want to show my gap.
Mm.
My brother Ethan, he was like, "Hump, are you that insecure?" I said, "Yeah." What you mean, bro? I
Yeah.
haven't walked around with a missing tooth for like 8 years, and so now when I'm so confident because I see the power that I have in order to inspire people. If I stop, somebody else gonna stop. If I stop,
Right.
that means it's okay to quit. And that's the brand represents pushing through the urge to quit when things are hard.
I like that. I like that. I
And
like
that's what
that.
once we get out the live, I'm gonna send you the if it's okay with you, I'm gonna send you the ebook.
Okay. Yeah, bro. That's heavy, bro, because a lot of times we don't understand insecurity be the smallest things. You're like the smallest things, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I done had plenty of insecurities, bro. I think something that I grew up with. So I grew up, bro, and I used to always be like separate from the kids in my class with reading. So we had our own little circle in the back, and they
Mm-hmm.
would take us out because we probably couldn't read at the pace that everybody else could read. So when it was time for me to read, I would just get in trouble and just
Mm-hmm.
get put out than read, bro, because I knew I probably wasn't the best reader. I know I wasn't the best reader.
Mm-hmm.
So they had like hooked on phonics coming to my house. They have send a little package. You gotta open the box, put the headphones on, press play. You gotta listen all day, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and as a 5-year-old, I'm just like, oh my god, like I would just go to sleep listening to like the little song. Still hear it in my head,
Mm-hmm.
bro. Like, um, so I just didn't have that confidence, bro, in education. Like I just didn't have that confidence in speaking because I couldn't read well. And I would have a tutor come out. I was in the hippie program, was kind of like for second chance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, kids that were like, struggling with mainstream school. Never seen an AP class in my life, bro. So it was just like, this was the route that I was taking, and I was always insecure about it, when my friends would pass notes in class. Probably couldn't read it, you know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't a good reader, bro. So with that being said, that's definitely something that held me back from speaking for a long time. Not being able to read, not feeling confident enough to read. Maybe I could read that whole time. My confidence wasn't there. So that's something I still battle with. And as you can see, bro, you can't see, but bro, all I do is read, bro. Like I read. Like that's all I do is read, bro. Like I show you my library, bro. Like all I do is read. Like this is my library. Like
I need a bigger shelf.
that's my library, man. All I do is read, bro. And it's not just a educational thing, bro. It keeps my mind going. Oh, you got a nice selection too. It keeps my mind going. It keeps me going. It keeps me confident in my day-to-day life, bro, with interacting with people. My cognitive be right. So I know reading is going out of style, apparently. Nobody likes to read. It's all about YouTube now, TikTok. And I learn stuff on TikTok all the time. I learn stuff on YouTube all the time. I'm a YouTube king. Like I stay on YouTube. I think I got the premium package. That's why I won't have to get the advertisement, bro. But yeah, like it's so many different ways to learn now, but I think reading is definitely my favorite one because of my struggles growing up, with reading and everything like that, man.
And like you said earlier, I had made a video when I had made my mind up about how insecurities is holding us back. Because really, to be honest, the more control that we give our insecurities, the more that we not gonna do anything. They're really holding us back from succeeding because we're letting our securities control us.
Yeah.
And like you had said earlier, you like, man, I got a big head, man. I'm gaining weight. I need to get back in the gym. This and that, bro. Everybody is listening to a story. Everybody is not paying attention to a small discrepancies. You're paying attention to it because it's you.
It's you.
And everybody that is when I watch, I'm like, okay, damn. Okay, the first documentary that I had watched, you had went to the library and you had picked up some book. I can't remember the name of the book that you had picked up, but you had picked up some book.
I think it was
Carter G. Who?
It was Miseducation of the Negro of Carter G. Woodson.
That one. It was that one. The book that I'm reading now is called Warriors Don't Cry by Melba Patilio Bills. You know what that is?
I'm not. No, I need to look. I need to Google that one. I think I heard of the title, but I don't know the author. I like to know authors. That's my thing. Like so. Send me that in the chat afterwards, bro. I love to check out who that is, man, and what a little bit of what he talks about.
You know what's so crazy? It's a woman, and you.
Oh, it's a woman. Okay.
She was part of the Little Rock
What was the
Nine.
first name again?
Melba, MELBA.
Oh, you said Melba. I thought you said Melbourne. Okay. Melba. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. When I had a video and you had picked up the book and was like, man, this is my favorite book because like the story that he tell, like I said, damn, that's really a history book. That's really a good book to read just because you learn about other people's journey and their experiences.
Yeah.
That book that I'm reading, Warriors Don't Cry, bro. I'm visually reading everything that's going on with her during this time in 1957. The Central got segregated. During that time, bro, it was so hard for them. Now, and I want to read each and every one of their books because it's different story for everybody. If they do have a book, but
stories are powerful.
It is, and like I'm just reading it, bro. I'm like highlighting it. I'm really in tune with this book, bro. I read like a couple books, but like with this one, it hit home because one we from Little Arkansas. They went to the same school that we went to, and if it weren't for them, we wouldn't even been able to get in there.
Yep, absolutely.
And that's why. Go ahead. You said what?
History is important. We didn't learn enough about it. So if you're asking me, my opinion, like I wish I would have learned more about the Little Rock Nine, their individual lives. Like I knew all about like Colonel Ulysses S. Grant, and I knew all about their individual lives, how many they were married, if they, when they died. But like when it came to Little Rock Nine, it was like, oh, it was just group effort to desegregate schools, and okay, next page. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't really as depth as I would have liked it to as a 10th grader, as a 9th grader. So I definitely see the focus, why the focus should be on, African American history, man. It's definitely, it's essential. But that's not even where I started with reading. Like my first book, my first favorite author was a guy named Jiddu Krishnamurti, and he was an Eastern teacher, and it's one of his books. This is a picture of him. It's called Freedom from the Known. And bro, like the table of contents is like, when I first opened it up, it's like, man, the first chapter, number 1, is like man's search. And chapter number 2 is learning about ourselves and simplicity and humility. Chapter number 3, conscious, the totality of life. Number 4 is pursuit of pleasure, desire. Like, I mean, this dude, like he had a something that I still live by today. Like, life is essentially the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain. Bro, when he said that, bro, I'm just like, I was blown away. I had to read more of his content. Now I got probably every book he probably wrote. Here we are 7 years later into it, and he's still, my favorite author and everything. But man, like, yeah, reading is powerful, bro. It's powerfully important as well.
It is. It is. The first book that I read that really got me tuned with like the mindset that I have, I need to change it, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Rich Dad Poor Dad. Yeah, you introduced me to that a little bit the other day, man. When you came in town, man, I was just like, oh, I need to check that out. I got it sitting right here, bro. I just haven't really had the time to sit down and get into it.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie to you. When I read it, because you know how you get books referrals from other people saying they be like, man, I just read this book and you should read it or whatever case is, but you hear it from a video.
Right.
I got that book, bro. I read it. I said, hold on, man. They can't be real. They can't be real. It can't be that simple. It can't be that simple. I know there's a little bit more to it. Then I really got thinking, I'm like, bro, me subconsciously not knowing, it really changed the way I think, the way I talk, the way I act. Because I mean, granted, if you ask somebody that's in real estate, what's your favorite real estate book, they're gonna say Rich Dad Poor Dad. But to be honest, it's not even about real estate. It's about understanding what an asset is versus a liability. Understanding that terminology to where you can put it to your best interest.
Yeah.
Because the only thing we know is liabilities.
Facts.
And I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I read 3 of his books. He got like 12, 19 of them. Hold on, let me show the size of this one. That mug pretty hefty. Got to invest in with the rich, invest in that the poor and middle class do not. Then I got the cash flow.
You said something earlier that goes into that financial part, bro. Like you said, you talked about people and the power of people, bro. And like, it's a new currency out here, bro. And it's new. Its currencies are growing every day. It's just not the dollar no more. It's like you have a currency. Okay, you got your financial currency, economic currency, but then you also got what's this thing called social currency, right? And social currency is just becoming more important than economic currency. They're paying you to have social currency. So if you get a certain amount of social currency on followers or anything like that, they'll cash you out for how many people you know. You know what I'm saying? Because essentially, like resources grow off relationships. And we don't want to acknowledge it all the time. We want to get it out the mud by ourselves. I did this by myself. And a lot of times we are disafforded a lot of them opportunities to where we can build and grow with other people. But the first level of building a team is trust. And a lot of times in our community, we don't get past that level. So it's harder for us to build on resources with other people. You know what I'm saying? Like it's harder. 3 things to make a community. Dr. Claude Anderson says that 3 things that make a community are common ideas, common ideology. The second thing that make a community is a financial economic system that's censored and held by accountability. And it's one more, but some he said in there is just like a lot of time in our Black communities, We don't have black communities. We got black neighborhoods. And the sense of neighboring is gone now because we don't trust each other. Now we just got the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, but them social responsibilities we need, bro, they gotta continue to play out if we want to make money together. And I used to always be like, maybe we can do this. Maybe I can just do this by myself. Maybe I can grind by myself. And I'm like, no, now I see the importance of a nation, of a family, because a lot of the times we talk about the Walmart is sponsored by who? The Walton family, Dillard's. That's a last name. The last names we're talking about: Gucci, Louis, Goldman, and Sachs. Those are two last names that came together. It's like families coming together. Do they like each other? We don't know. Do they care about each other? That doesn't really matter. But we do know that the income is the output. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like we gotta get there to where we can build up our families first. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to come up, in debt to what your family didn't have, and then surpass that in 10 years and say, oh, look where I'm at now. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times college, I went to college, but you're already sinking in debt after college, and now you still trying to figure it out. So it's just like we got to put more emphasis on the family structure if we really want to build economically, man, because a lot of times we skip over the fact that a lot of this is just, it's family business, bro. Like, you hear it in the mobster movies, like, it's family business, and that level of accountability, it's a must, man. It's a must, bro.
You talking that talk, bro? Because I was gonna ask you, bro. Because I forgot to ask you about this, what you think networking is, but you just hit it on the nail. Because when I came to realize that I can't do everything by myself, them 60 months I was trying to do it, yeah, okay, cool. Me and my business partner were trying to do it, but we two inexperienced people trying to build something out of nothing. Not only was I working with Dylan, but I was working with Kyle Thompson. I probably had probably 3 business partners, but we're all inexperienced. Once I came to realize that you don't have to know everything, you don't have to be doing everything within your business, within your life, with everything, because you don't know everything. We don't know everything. There's somebody that been in real estate for like 20 plus years that really experienced on level we're trying to get to.
Yep.
Why is it that we have to do things by ourselves? Why is it that we can't bring in people to help us? And my personal opinion is that we're just so proud, we just egotistical to where we can't reach out and ask for help. We can't have a conversation about, hey man, how do you get to that level? Man,
To be
I'm
honest,
starting
bro,
off.
like, easier said than done, bro. A lot of times that's just the reality, bro. That's just the reality. Like, you don't have those people around you that's interested in intellectual conversations that will spark, some financial change outside of something that's quick. Like, a lot of times you don't have those alleyways of safety and security to where you can say, hey, how did you get there, without somebody charging you for the game? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, come to my workshop, or come to my 2-day, you know what I'm saying, sparkful activity that's going to teach you everything you need to know about the X, Y's, and Z's. Like, it's really more so easier said than done. And like, your first, political base is your family, and that's why it's important for family to eat at the same table together to discuss family issues, political issues. You learn value, you learn law, you learn all these things at the table, bro. When you wasn't at the table sitting down, you was eating your cereal in your room by yourself with your TV, bro. That mentality follows you through life. Eat by myself. I'm gonna eat by myself, bro, and I'm gonna go get it by myself. And it's important for us to break that, you know what I'm saying, before it becomes a detriment to who we are, and we end up in unfortunately, especially as Black males, end up in unfortunate situations where we're trying to get it quick or eat by ourselves, get us 10 years backwards.
100%.
So, but yeah, man, this has been a very insightful conversation, bro. Very insightful conversation, bro.
Man, it has.
Is a beautiful platform, man. We an hour and 30 hanging, man, and we just like we getting to the meat to it, man. But I didn't definitely enjoyed the conversation, man, every second.
Man, and I really appreciate you for agreeing to do with me, because like, bro, that's what we're here to do. Just bring value as much as we can to inspire those that's watching us that you can do anything that you want to do. And I do have to give a big shout out to my mentors, Mike and Steve, man. If you want y'all, bro, I want to have the mindset that I have, because y'all brought me around things I never been around. So I really appreciate you, bro. really appreciate that for sure. Really appreciate y'all for sure. Tim, I really appreciate you for your time, bro. This was really incredible. This was really incredible. I know it's like what 11,
It's
10,
9:30 out here.
9:30. Yeah. Man, listen, it can definitely be a part two. It can definitely be a part two,
Oh,
bro. Next
absolutely.
time I want to do it in person. Next time I
Oh,
want to do it in
absolutely.
person.
That'll be dope. Popeye. That'll be dope.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, listen, bro. I really appreciate you for your time. Before we close, before we end this podcast, do you have any more closing remarks left?
Uh, I don't necessarily got no closing remarks, man. But you know, with you, man, continue to do the things that you're doing, bro. Failure is knowledge is. I think people may skip past that, but don't let them. You know, I think you should have everybody defining what failure is knowledge means to them when they come onto your platform. Bro, this is yours, just like CNN or just like Joe Rogan or just like any other platform. This is yours, bro, and you
Mm-hmm.
curate it the way you wanted it, bro. So I feel like, just continue to do what you're doing, bro. Continue to ask questions. You know what I'm saying? There's no wrong question. There's no dumb question, bro. You're trying to move
Mm-hmm.
forward ahead, bro. So hats off to you, bro. Continue to do what you're doing, man. Anytime you need me, bro, shoot me a text, and I'm always right around the corner, bro.
Man, and likewise, whenever you need someone or have a question, just want to talk, bro, I'm always here for you. I'm always here for you. Because even though you might think you're doing things by yourself, when you're dealing with things by yourself, you're not. You're never alone. You got somebody that you can reach out to that can really understand what you're going through, which is me. My line is always open. My line is always open. And man,
Gotcha, man.
everybody that tuned in, both Instagram and on both on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Man, I really appreciate you for your time, man. If y'all really got value from this, man, share this live with somebody that needs to hear this. Because the conversation was good, and you can see that we're just actually just having a regular conversation. So listen, it as we come to an end, continue to become the best version of yourself. Never, never, never stop striving to become better than yesterday, because the day you do is the day that you gave up on yourself. We thank y'all. We love y'all. And y'all continue to be great and continue to believe in yourself. I'm about to end it now. Oh, there you go.